Ric Renner alongside the stars of the show, Brian Damaris, and former NBA All-Star Devin Harris. Guys, we're just running out of adjectives to describe Luka. How about that fourth quarter? He was on fire. And guess what? This is not an April Fool's joke. Unbelievable way to start off the weekend working with these guys, right? We're just sitting around watching baseball. We're under the roof at 72 degrees. It doesn't get any better than this. And welcome to a glorious edition of Rangers Live presented by Frontier Communications. Ric Renner alongside the most powerful man in Texas media, Mike Bassick of 105.3 The Fan. He told me to say that. And the spotlight is now on the Class 4A champs, the Lady Eagles of Argyle, becoming just the third school in state history to win 5 straight state championships. No one will ever touch that Wilt Chamberlain kind of number one in touchdowns with 127 and counting. What a night it was. And here he is in the studios to talk shop, talking about the all-time touchdown king in the largest classification in the state of Texas, Braden Locke. So good to have you here. Congratulations. What does it mean to you to have guys like Kyler Murray, Garrett Gilbert, Baker Mayfield? They're all looking up at you as the number one of all time.
It's an incredible honor.
I can't just let Kevin Durant go across the lane. I don't do anything. Let him stop where he wants, catch the ball where he wants to catch it, and now he faces up, and I'm just playing, hold on, double R.
Day.
I'm just playing token defense. I might as well not even be there. This guy's 7 feet tall. He's going to turn around and just score the basketball.
I just slammed on Matt Bonner.
What you need to do is 2 parts, all right?
And then that guy.
Flanny Friday again?
It's Flanny Friday.
Crazies in the building. What is this?
What is going on?
That's against company policy, right?
I mean, we
Almost
do have security. How do you get fans in here wanting autographs?
I don't know.
Has security. And by the way, Dan, I noticed you parked where the electric car is supposed to park. I think that was illegal parking by you.
You know, if you're Bobby Bigwell, the rules don't apply to you, Rick.
Well, hopefully it's there when the show ends.
Wow, that was a nice touch. I like that. We welcome you into Spurs Live. Ric Renner, Matt Bonner, the Red Rocket, and Mr. Danalytics, Dan Weiss. LaMarcus Aldridge is going to miss his 4th straight game. He's out still with the sore shoulder. Jakob Poeltl is also out, probably going to be 2 to 4 weeks. And that is a big thing tonight because Derek White is going to be in the starting lineup for Drew Eubanks. So the Spurs are going to go even smaller against a team that is very large. It's going to be a challenge tonight against the Nets.
It is. I kind of like it, though.
Ric Renner hanging out with a couple of cats that think baseball should actually consider having a penalty box. I think you guys made the great point last night. When you play a team 19 times, there's going to be hostility. It is human nature. We start with Adolis Garcia. This guy just keeps on doing it now. 4 home runs in the last 6 games, number 19 and number 20 on the year. He is on a tear. He's one of just 2 Rangers in history that are rookies with over 50 RBIs in the first half before the All-Star break. Our friend here, David Murphy, the other was 60 back in 2008 when he was a rookie. But boy, you look at what he has been able to do. 2 huge shots both ways. He uses all the fields. And as you look at that, guys, do you think he just punched his ticket for the All-Star game?
There's no way to exactly know until it happens.
I am your replacement anchor for Dana Larson. Ric Renner signed to a 10-day contract, which is the longest contract I've ever had in my career. Great to be with you, my man. It's an interesting game because so much anticipation when you take on the defending NBA champion, and yet we have so much star power out tonight.
Well, we have star power right here, you and me. I mean, listen, Followill had Dirk last game. He's got Devin tonight, but your dreams have come true. You got me. It's a Christmas miracle. Let's do this.
It's a Christmas miracle and a Festivus for the rest of us. Well, COVID is definitely the big topic in the NBA. A fourth of the league has dealt with protocols, and the Mavs have their 7th player in 5 days that got knocked out. Let's take a look at who's in and who's out. Here's who's out. Ja'Cory McLaughlin added to the list that includes Luka, Trey Burke, Hardaway Jr., Kleba, Bullock, and Green. And we've had pretty much 2 a day until today, so maybe that's a positive sign. 2 assistant coaches are also on the list. Let's get reaction from Jason Kidd, who has his hands full, wondering who's available and who he's coaching tonight.
You gotta stay positive. Communication with the new guys, with the guys that are out, checking on to see how they're feeling. And so there's a lot going on besides X and O's right now. And then you have the holiday season when Santa's coming to town. So there's a lot going on.
It's not easy being in this situation. It's almost like you're coaching street ball. You know, you're out there and you don't know who you're coaching. You've had no practices. I can't even imagine it from his perspective.
Yeah, they're basically saying build them with confidence and go out and do what you do. High pick and roll, flow offense. If you have the shot, get it.
Let's bring in my partner in crime. I'm Ric Renner alongside Matt Bonner, who joins us from a snowdrift up there in New Hampshire in the North Pole. And this was really a fun game to watch. And I just can't help but think how different this game would have been with fans down the stretch. Now, the referees, they swallowed their whistles in the last moments of this one, as Sean Elliott pointed out. But it may have been a little different with some of those calls late if there were fans in there and Spurs fans going crazy, Matt.
I agree. I mean, can you imagine this game going up against the defending champs? You got LeBron James in the house.
In Davis Bertans, who learned that corner three in his days in San Antonio with the Spurs. It's the shortest three on the court, and that means the highest percentage, and he is one of the best at shooting that corner three. The Spurs are full throttle almost. I mean, Derek White is out, but we do get DeMar DeRozan, DeJounte Murray, and Jakob Poeltl back in the starting lineup tonight, and they're all well rested. What is up with all this overtime this team's playing right now? 3 of the last 4 games have gone overtime. It's the second most in the last 2 years in the league, with 14 of them with consecutive overtime games in back-to-back seasons. The Spurs are just 1 overtime game shy of the club record set in the 1980s, and we got 9 games left. One thing that it tells you, though, is that these young Spurs fight until the end, no matter what the circumstances are. Like last night up against the Beast of the East, Keldon Johnson and company overcame a 17-point deficit despite having 4 starters out. It doesn't matter. These kids always think they can win. It's fun to watch, and this was against the number 1 seed of the East, the 76ers, with the MVP candidate Joel Embiid, who's more than a half foot taller than all of the Spurs combined. The Spurs youngins bring the energy. And welcome into day 2 of Big 12 Football Media Days, starring the one and only Gary Reasons, College Football Hall of Famer, 2-time Super Bowl champion. I'm Ric Renner. Aaron Hardigan will join us shortly with all kinds of interviews with the coaches and the players. A lot of fun on day 1 yesterday. One of my favorite moments was when Gary Patterson was up there. He had so many lines, he pretty much shut down Twitter. I loved his line where he said, good news, bad news. Good news, I got 18 starters back. Bad news, we were 6-7 last year.
You know, Gary Patterson comes to this event every year, and he's really come to understand what it's all about and have some fun with it. So we threw out a couple of fun lines. You took that one, and, you know, when you talk about coming back with 18 starters, was good news, bad news. He understands he's got to do a lot better. We'll talk more about the Horned Frogs in a little while.
Let's take a look at the day 2 schedule. We're going to break in 2 new coaches today. Tom Herman at Texas and Matt Rule, who's looking to rule and change the culture down there at Baylor. The new sheriff is in town in Austin. Tom Herman, he will kick things off at the 11 o'clock hour Eastern Standard Time, followed by Dana Holgerson, who's working with a well-deserved contract extension after a 10-win season. Matt Rule with the change there in Baylor. 77-year-old Bill Snyder, always fun. He'll join the party. Plus, Mike Gundy and that fabulous mullet that has actually had 7 months to grow since the bowl game. Going to be a lot of fun today. What are you looking forward to hearing?
Well, we're going to hear some new things about these new coaches. It's going to be exciting talking to the new coaches, you know, for Matt Rule and also for Tom Herman. So that's going to be their first media days and the first kickoff of that. We'll talk some more about them and have a chance to ask them some really good questions.
Right now, we're going to go to the podium where Walt Anderson, the coordinator of officials, is addressing the media with some of the changes this year in the Big 12 for the officials.
Walt, welcome to the Big 12 platform.
Let's check the wild card race. Very wild and wacky today. We start at the Trop on Florida's left coast in Tampa as the Yankees were taking on the Rays. Charlie Morton showed you why he's an all-star selection today against the Yankees. He struck out 10 in 5 2/3 innings, and the Rays go on to beat New York 2-1. The final there. A big statement maybe down the line, still a shot at the division. Boston at Detroit, the lowly Tigers in Motown, and all-star Xander Bogaerts drives in 2 with his 29th double of the year to give Boston a comfortable lead. The Sox hang on to win it 6-3, their 4th straight victory. Let's go to Cincinnati for the Indians and the Reds, and they would crush those Reds. Jake Bauers with one of 4 home runs for the Tribe today. Cleveland gets to win number 50 and an 11-1 win over Cincinnati. But guys, how about these throwback uniforms by the Cincinnati Reds? Many of them didn't even wear sleeves. Like Yasiel Puig.
Yeah.
Check this out. You can see some guns on these guys. What do you think about this look, Mac? I think you would have liked that look.
Well, they had that. They had that look. They had that look when I played. So they used to wear those occasionally back in the day. So a little bit different, yeah, without sleeves. If you've got guns like that, why not? You know, but everybody's not, quite as blessed as you are, Rick.
Come on now.
Trying to get a tan. You see the tan line there? We have the farmer's tan. We got to work on our tan. We got 3 hours out on the field to help out the upper arm there.
Hey, I'm good with tan. Why tan?
I think Rugi Odor would like those uniforms. The way he shows that muscle all the time.
He's already got his with the wide open right there. Might as well go sleeveless.
I saw J.R. Smith is in that softball All-Star game today, and he's not wearing a shirt because just like when he won it in Cleveland, Rugi might like to have a game where there is no jersey on. Wow. Just go shirtless.
Well, there was a crazy game going on in Houston, and by the way, it's still going on right now between the Angels and the Astros. Scary moment here, tied in the 10th in the and look at this, George Springer hits a sacrifice to right field. Jake Marisnick, who's 6'4", 220, barrels into Jonathan Lucroy going home. Now the ball came loose. Marisnick is eventually ruled out on the play, so the game is still tied at 10-all. Mike Trout has 2 homers in the game, number 27 and number 28. Scary moment for Jonathan Lucroy, who needed a stretcher to leave the game. Obviously a head injury. Looks like he may have broke his nose. We'll find out more later. But, boy, we hate to see this. Baseball trying to get away from this, Mac.
Yeah, they really are.
Now, Aaron, you can make a serious case that the mecca of basketball is in the DFW.
No doubt.
It is remarkable. You think about all the national All-Americans and all that. Let's take a look at the District of Doom, which features Duncanville, the team that is now going for 4 straight state championships. Remember, they would have won it the COVID year as well. They were there for all that. Richardson and Duncanville have 3 of the top 6 recruits in the state, including national All-American Anthony Black, who's uncommitted, a 5-star, one of 5 national All-Americans in Texas. Duncanville's Ron Holland is the nation's #1 junior and will continue to play in the District of Doom this year as the Panthers look to win another ring. And get this, just to show you the dominance in the DFW and North Texas area, let's go back to 2019. 5 of the 6 boys state champions all came from the DFW area. Duncanville, Mansfield, Timberview, Faith Family, Dallas Madison, and Slidell in 1A. Remember, they're just 65 miles outside of Dallas. While on the girls' side, to continue the dominance that we see in the DFW in basketball, you have the reigning defending champs from DeSoto, who have everybody back in the most star-studded lineup of any team in the state, if not the nation. 7 girls on this team looking to defend have signed national letters of intent at Division I programs. Now let's look at their district for the girls. Mansfield Legacy is in there, who has all-state guard Savannah Catalan, one of the DFW's top recruits, and Lake Ridge, who has Kylie Marshall, who's a 4-star and the 2nd best player in Texas. Also in North Texas, you have South Grand Prairie, who is ranked number 10. They made it to the state semifinals, was knocked out by DeSoto last year. And of course, Argyle, who is number 1. DFW Hoops is absolutely elite.
Yeah.
It's time for Rick Around the Clock. Hey, break up Diamond Hill Jarvis. Remember football? They won their first game in 8 years after snapping a 77-game losing skid. Well, boys basketball snapped a 29-game district losing skid. Waxahachie coach Leslie Preby retires after 24 years at the school, 500 wins and a state title. Allen gets the state's top assistant, David Hicks of Katie Morton Ranch, who brings his son DJ, who's got 30 offers, a 5-star defensive end. Jadon Blue of Klein Kane is the number 3 running back in the country, opts out of his senior year going to Texas. Bosqueville's John Ewens throws a no-hitter to get to state, Baylor bound, and Stanford's Citlali Gutierrez throws a 14-strikeout complete game for the state title. She's going to Texas. I beat it again. How do I do it? Hey, make sure you look for our UIL Championship Spotlight show on baseball and softball as we celebrate the state champions right here on Bally Sports. Thanks so much for watching. Stay positive, test negative, and if you haven't, get vaccinated. Welcome into High School Spotlight on Bally Sports. I'm Ric Renner. It's a fantastic time of the year for high school sports. Baseball, softball, golf, tennis, track and field will all be crowning champions soon. But up first is soccer. The regional finals just wrapped up on the boys and girls side with the cream of the crop in Texas punching their ticket to state. Every young basketball player dreams about it, hitting a game-winning shot for a championship. Imagine hitting 2. That's what happened to Terrence Arsenault of Beaumont United. It was David versus Goliath, Dallas Kimball in their 12th state tournament against a school that's only existed for 3 years. Kimball made a 17-point comeback to have a 3-point lead in the closing moments of regulation. Terrence tied it with a miraculous 3 with 2 defenders to send it to overtime. Then he hit another 3 in OT to win the city of Beaumont's first championship in 20 years. Now, Brooklyn, when we think of Argyle, we think of a football school, but it's really a girls' basketball school. 6 titles compared to their 1. Do you give the football players a hard time about that?
I mean, sometimes, but they're really supportive.
Time now for the Whataburger play of the day. And we're going to give it to Albert Pujols. Home run number 2 on the year off of the 96-mile-per-hour fastball from Taylor Hearn. That is career number 664. He's 5th all-time. He needs 32 to get to Alex Rodriguez and 4th place on the all-time list. Hey, 700's out there, too. Seems like he's going to play forever. It's a good thing he hit a home run because it takes him about 2 minutes to get around the base paths, right?
Yeah, I mean, he may have lost the legs a little bit.
All right, it's time now to be the big baller here on Bally Sports. I know you think it's him. No,
yes.
It could be you because you could win up to $250,000. All you have to do is be 21 years old to play. Scan the QR code on your screen or visit BallySports.com/win. Select the winners of 6 games from Sunday and the final scoring margin. Get your picks in before Sunday. Just for fun, we're going to help you out with our picks. If David was a genius at this, he wouldn't be working with me right now. He'd be on a beach somewhere. So whatever David picks, pick the opposite. Tell me about your picks there, buddy.
Exactly. My picks are just simply, it's a guess. And picking NBA spreads is difficult. If I could do it, I'd probably be working in Vegas somewhere. So, you know, I please don't copy this. Go with your own thought. This could be completely wrong.
By the way, my picks are gold. Philadelphia, that's a second game of a back-to-back. I like Cleveland in that one. Orlando and Houston, worst teams in the league. Take the other teams. Miami, Toronto's spicy. Miami going for that number 1 seed. Yep. And OKC, of course, tanking again with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander out for the rest of the year. So go with Phoenix by 20. Don't forget, BallySports.com/win. Pick the 6 games before Sunday with the scoring margin, and maybe you could win $250,000. Got to be 21 or older.
Good luck.
Break time on Pelicans Live, presented by FanDuel Sportsbook. Tip-off of the Pelicans and the Lakers right around the corner. The top storylines to birdwatch when we come back.